An inclusive leader is somebody who recognises the need to be at the core human. And I think a truly inclusive leader is someone who balances both people and profit with the same amount of consideration for both. A DE&I strategy, firstly and foremostly, has to be specific to an organisation, because I think the challenges that every organisation faces are different. I also think it's absolutely imperative that it sits alongside and is integrated with a wellbeing strategy, and clearly my role as head of wellbeing is very much about that. And I see wellbeing and DE&I as both complementary and supplementary to one another, because ultimately if people do not feel like they can be themselves, they are unlikely to gain any sense of belonging, and of course that feeds directly into well-being. So for me, it's absolutely imperative that well-being and DE&I are intertwined. Budget. I think that there's a huge amount of pressure on businesses in all industry sectors at the moment. And sadly, whenever a business looks at what it needs to prioritise, a lot of the time it does come down to resource, whether that's financial or people, which ultimately is the same thing. So I think whilst we can continue to make sure that leaders are aware of the business benefits to continuing to focus on DE&I and wellbeing, it will always be competing with so many other priorities. So I'd like to see us continue on the trajectory that we've been on in the last 10 years, and specifically from a wellbeing perspective, I very much see wellbeing as kind of 5 years behind DE&I. So I think we're slowly catching up, and organisations are slowly recognising that wellbeing is as important as DE&I. And I think for me, success in the next 5 to 10 years will be seeing all big organisations have someone who has the remit to be responsible for wellbeing alongside DE&I.